and we're going to kickstart the introduction. So the recording has started. It's going to be posted on the YouTube channel. So we'll have Abdul Basit Jumo. Abdul Basit, could you introduce yourself? Let's get to know you.
Good evening. I'm Abdul Basit Jim. I'm calling in from Abuja.
Perfect. Welcome. You could also mention like your experience level. That will also be very helpful.
I would say I'm a beginner because I just finished my software engineering program at ALX Africa.
Perfect. Welcome to the call. Ade Fokun Adeoluwa. Let's get to know you.
Oh, okay.
Adeoluwa, you there? I guess she isn't there. So we'll have Adeni Aliu. Aliu Adeyemi, are you there? Quickly introduce yourself. Let's get to know you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is my name is Adolua. Ado, can you hear
Yes,
me?
please. Proceed. I think we lost that person. So we'll move on to the next. Diana Bastos. Diane, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, okay. So I'm Portuguese from Portugal. I'm software developer in advanced level. I'm mainly focused in my day-to-day as in front-end development. And yeah, that's it, right?
Awesome. Nice to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Perfect. So we'll have Ajiboye Eniola.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eniola. I'm from Nigeria and I live in Lagos. I'm a software developer.
Perfect. Nice to have you, Eniola.
Thank you.
Adeoluwa, I think your network cut you off a bit earlier. Are you back? Introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, my name is Adolua. I'm a smart contract developer. I'm also in Nigeria, Ocean State, and I'm admin of Web3 Bridge.
Awesome. That is here. Welcome. Akinle Ayomi. Could you introduce yourself quickly? Akinle Ayomi. I don't think the person is available. We'll move on to the next. Okay, Amarachi Ogu, please introduce yourself quickly.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amara Chuku, and I'm a blockchain developer experienced with Solidity, and I'm also a front-end developer, also a Nigerian based in Enugu.
Awesome. Nice to have you on the call. Aneke Chinwetalu, brother. Please proceed.
Okay. My name is, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
My name is Chiwetalu Aneke. I stay in Enugu, Nigeria. I'm a beginner front-end developer.
Awesome. Nice to have you. Angela Lucci. Angela,
Hello,
are you
good
there?
evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear
Good
me?
evening. Yes, please proceed.
Okay, my name is Angela Oluchi Abuko. I'm a Nigerian and I'm in Enugu too. I'm a beginner front-end developer. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice to have you. Anichi Som, please proceed.
Okay, good day, everyone. My name is
Good day.
Anichi Som, and I'm a front-end developer using React.js.
Nice to have you here. Beautiful. Asogwadani. Asogwadani, you there? I don't think he's there. Chinaza David. Don't think Chinaza is available either. Proceed to the next. Daniel Emmanuel.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Daniel Emmanuel from Nigeria, based in Kano, software engineer beginner.
Okay, Uchenna.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Okeke Uchenna. I'm just a beginner. From Nigeria, Niger State, Mina.
Oh, nice. Welcome to the call. So we may likely not have everybody. I'm just gonna pick randomly. So we're gonna wrap up the whole introductions in the next 2 minutes. All right. So Uchenna Ofoma.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And I'm a Web 2 developer transitioning into Web3 space. It's nice to meet you all.
Awesome. Nice to meet you too as well. Sympathy capture.
Hello, good evening. Hello, can you hear me?
Please proceed.
Hello, can you hear me? Good evening.
Yes, proceed. Good evening.
Okay, it's Godwin Prosperity. My name is Godwin Prosperity. Then I'm calling from Enugu. I'm a developer, full stack.
Okay. Nice to have you. So we'll move on to Ojo Labore. I don't know if you pronounced that correctly.
Hey everyone, my
Yeah,
name
good
is
evening.
Makure Agbechasi. I'm a full stack and blockchain developer. I am also lead of Web3 ambassador. I live in Togo in Lome.
Oh, nice. Lome Togo. Nice.
Yes,
But oh, that's
I,
good to
I would
yeah.
be delighted to meet you at the Web3 Lagos conference.
Nice. It's good to have you. I see I've heard people from, 3 different countries right now. So this is good. Shows that we are widely spread. All right, so we'll have probably the last person, maybe Nan Fang Gaius, if I pronounce that correctly. Nan Fang Gaius.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Nat Fongais and I'm joining from Niger State, Mina. I'm a beginner.
Oh, nice to have you. All right, I just want to check something quickly. If you are not Nigerian in the call, could you just raise your hand? I think I identified 3 non-Nigerians who introduced themselves earlier. If you're not a Nigerian, could you raise your hand? Or you're not in Nigeria, could you raise your hand on the call? Just want to take a quick demographic of persons in the call right now. Philippa Bastos. Yeah. Philippa Bastos, and a few other persons. That's good to see. All right. Philippa Bastos, could you introduce yourself?
Sorry, yes. So I'm from Portugal. I'm a front-end developer too. I work with React, JavaScript, and TypeScript, and recently I've been working with Solidity, and that's it.
Hello, please. Is the meeting still going on?
Yes,
You got the
please.
meeting
Just
going.
give me a minute. Trying to sort something quickly.
Yes, we have been quiet, and I was thinking my network is having issues, so I'm not sure.
Just give me a minute, please. I'm trying to resolve something. Hmm? Please attend to something. So yes, like I was mentioning, we actually sent everybody the curriculum to your mails. So what we're having today is the onboarding call, and in this onboarding call, we have representatives from Starknet Africa present. Um, this bootcamp that GIDA is having is being done in collaboration with Starknet Africa. So for the next 8 weeks, we are going to have instructors, experts, blockchain developers coming from the Starknet Africa team to assist as instructors during the duration of this bootcamp. So the bootcamp is actually slated to be an 8 weeks bootcamp. As was mentioned in your mail, classes are going to be twice a week, and we're going to have assignments and tests given on Friday. So that is that activities for the week are actually each week you have 2 classes, right? Classes per week, which is Mondays and days, and then on Fridays giving assignments. So like um 8 weeks. So this onboarding week is the class actually. Class has actually started. I'm going to introduce you to the instructor today. By the end of this bootcamp, you are equally expected to be able to build projects, right? We are going to have kind of like a project building challenge where whatever it is you've learned from this bootcamp, you're going to have you're going to have to build a product around it, and you're going to get connected to opportunities within the Starknet ecosystem, courtesy of you being part of this bootcamp. That is one advantage that comes with being a part of this bootcamp. You're going to be eligible for grants. The Starknet Africa team has mapped out these opportunities for people who participate in this bootcamp, right? I see a couple of persons, right, being so interested in the physical meetups thing that we mentioned earlier. It's a very good idea, but we would like to definitely control the process for it to be much more secured. So we are going to pass more information on that aspect for those interested in the physical meetups to meet other learners in their city. We're going to pass more information on how we intend this to be before weekend. Okay, so you can probably just anticipate more information on that. So let's have a brief background about GIDA. I'm gonna share something quickly so you can understand what GIDA is all about and what we do. Just give me a minute and I'm gonna quickly share this, and then we'll have the Starknet Africa team come up to give you a brief overview of what it's gonna look like as well, right? I'm gonna share my screen right now. All right, can everybody see my screen? If you can see my screen, please type I can see your screen. Please type I can see your screen if you can see my screen. Beautiful. Perfect. All right, so who is GIDA? What do we do at GIDA? So Ginakev Digital Academy is GIDA. And what we do at GIDA is actually education. We're an edutech platform that is committed to driving digital literacy, actually, and blockchain adoption in Africa. Blockchain adoption in all its tiers here implies, general education. We are talking about, you know, um, career wise, you want to become a developer, we're going to help you to become a developer. You want to get job opportunities, we're going to help connect you to job opportunities. Get you fully ready. So we are more like a community than just a brand. So we're a community that nurtures great minds who are intentional about self-development in the blockchain and digital space, founded in 2020 by Kevin, which is Kevin currently speaking to you. What we do, like I said, is mainly blockchain education for people who want to do trading around the blockchain side. That's crypto trading and the rest of that. We do that. We do community building, empowerment, and then we are focused on raising developers to become much better at what they do. All right, so we nurture and teach blockchain enthusiasts to have generic blockchain knowledge and relevant skills, so as content writing, social media management, community management, and the likes of that. And we are so keen on community building, such that we have built a solid and vast community of persons who are into various areas of tech. So in case you're coming across GIDA for the first time, I would like you to understand that we are not just developer focused or a developer community. We're not just a traders community. We're not just an whatever angle or niche you belong to that made you approach GIDA. Just know that we aren't a community that is focused on just that area, right? We are a vast community. So welcome to the Starknet Bootcamp. This is just a brief overview of what GIDA is about, so you actually understand the brand that is bringing this opportunity to you, how the whole thing is coming about. So like I mentioned, we have some team members from Starknet Africa joining us. We have Mr. Paul Emmanuel. Paul is the community manager of Starknet Africa. Yeah, so Paul is the community manager of Starknet Africa. Paul, could you unmute your mic let's get to hear from you. Paul, are you there? Okay, I think we lost Paul. And then we have Sarah. Sarah is a smart contract developer, blockchain developer actually, that writes Solidity and very, very vast in Cairo and the Starknet ecosystem. So Oluwatosin and Sarah, could you unmute your mic?
Yeah, GM everyone, GM.
Yeah, Sarah, good day. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome to the call. So Sarah is going to be our instructor for the week. So let's go over quickly over the curriculum. So you take a look at what you're going to be doing over the next 8 weeks as you kickstart this journey today, right? So like I said, this information has been shared with you guys to your mails, so you can find this information in your mailbox. So what we're going to be doing over the next 8 weeks is a deep dive into Starknet, right? So for this week, which is week 1, we're going to have 2 classes, which is the onboarding call today and a basic introduction to Starknet, which Sarah is going to be handling, right? So we're going to be handling for week 1, getting started with the Starknet ecosystem. So we're going to be learning about Stark and Snark, Starknet architecture, and the fundamental things you need to know to actually start doing stuff on the ecosystem. All right, and having understood this, you need to understand what Cairo is, how you can set up your environment. I mean, on the group, I see a lot of questions around what are the necessary tools you need to install, what are the necessary applications. So we are also going to be going deep on this. So if you've installed Rust, just like everybody was informed to, just know that there are more things for you to install, right? There's the scaffold, Starknet scaffold, which is a tool for you to also install, and a couple of others. So this is also going to be done in the second day of class in a week. Like I mentioned, we're going to have 2 classes in a week, which is Mondays and Wednesdays. Then on Fridays, you're going to be given assignments. So you can actually find a brief overview of what the assignment is going to look like. Your assignment, what you find in the curriculum, is not the exact assignment you're going to be given, right? It's just like an overview of what might actually occur. So it could actually be changed at any time, right? So that's in week 1. So Sarah is going to be covering that. So Oluwatosin Sarah is going to be the mentor for week 1. And she's also going to provide you guys with resources and references. I mean, so you can actually read through the documentation, and if you are lost at any point, you can ask questions, right? The beautiful thing about partnership or collaboration with Starknet Africa is you get to get direct mentorship from a Starknet focused community, right? So the instructors are always available to you to answer any of your questions while the class progresses. And then in week 2, we are going to be going on a deep dive into Cairo programming, having understood the fundamentals of what Cairo is about, the tools you need, and understanding the infrastructure. You now go to understand how to write your first Cairo program in week 2. All right, you understand about data types, the structures, I mean, the syntax and control flows and functions. So this is going to be covered in the first class in week 2, and then we'll move into memory arrangement. So you understand how memory works with your Cairo code, right? So we're going to go into advanced concepts around Cairo, and then you're going to be given some assignments. There's going to be tackling challenges, and well, you get to know more about this as the class progresses. So we're going to have the next mentor, which is Victor, joining us for that, and resources are going to be provided to you as well by the mentor. And then in week 3, we're going to have building on Starknet, right? Having understood what Cairo is all about, having understood how the syntax looks like in week 2, having understood how it works in memory, right? You are expected to have been trying out how to write this code, right? So we will now enter proper into writing Starknet contracts, right? Starknet is the blockchain, so the language you've now learned to use is just like using JavaScript, it's just like using Solidity. You now understand how that works. Now is the time to implement. So in week 3, we're going to go deep into building on Starknet. All right, we're going to go into Cairo program versus Starknet contracts. You're going to understand contract class versus instances and the likes of that. And then you will go deeper on the second day of class, into writing and deploying a simple storage contract. I mean, the way smart contracts are written on Starknet or with Cairo is very different with how it is done on Solidity or JavaScript, right? So you need to pay close attention to this part, and you actually need to implement. It's not enough to learn about it. You must actually implement for you to actually become very good at it and get a hang of it, right? So you're also going to be given assignments. After understanding how this works and trying it out yourself, you're going to be given assignments on what to build. So these assignments can actually be changed, like I mentioned. It's just giving you a case study of what to expect. So you're going to be given some contracts to build, deploy, and interact with. And then, of course, references and resources will be shared. So we're going to have Faith joining us in week 3 from Starknet Africa. And then in week 4, we're going to have Starknet development tools and frameworks introduced to you, right? Now you understand how to write Starknet contracts with Cairo. You're now going to have to deal with frameworks. You're going to be introduced to Scarp, Starknet CLI, DevNet, and Katana. And of course, Foundry. Okay, just to confirm, everybody can actually hear me before I proceed. Can you actually hear me, everybody? Perfect, perfect. So yeah, like I was saying, in week 4, we are going to be going deep into Starknet's development tools and frameworks, right? These frameworks are things that are going to help you scale up. It's just like how if you are somebody that writes JavaScript, you already understand how to use JavaScript, right? And when somebody now brings in React, it's easier to actually level up because it kind of elevates what you know, and you're using an existing something you are familiar with. So here, having understood how to write Cairo code or to build Starknet contracts, you're now going to get introduced to the relevant libraries that the relevant frameworks that you can actually use to make your work easy. So that's Starknet Foundry. And then you're going to have to use Foundry to write an S20 smart contract on Stack about declaring and contracts. And of course, you're going to be assignments. So you're going to create and deploy a voting contract on Dev, right? So we have another mentor coming in on week 4. Resources and tasks are going to be given to you. So lost along, you're always free to reach out to those. You're going to get instance. So in week 5, I understood the fundamentals. Now you're with frameworks. We're now going to go a deeper level. So you're going to understand, we're now going to deal with advanced Starknet contracts. So with advanced Starknet contracts, you're going to be introduced to composability and components of Starknet. You're going to go into deeper and wider smart contracts, something like a token sale contract. It's not a small smart contract at all, right? Because it involves a lot of moving parts. So you are expected to now understand the logic, how logic works, and you have to build an advanced token sale contract, right? And of course, there are going to be things like upgradable contracts. If you are familiar with Solidity, you know there's something called upgradable contracts. This is also available in the Starknet ecosystem. So in week 5, we're also going to touch on these. Like I mentioned, these classes are twice a week. So we're going to make the most of it. So classes are going to be at least 2 hours per day. And we have the classes twice a week. And on Fridays, which is meant for assignment and tests, if the instructors deem it fit, we can actually have classes on those days. And of course, if it's okay with the students, right? The schedule is twice a week. And if the instructor is not able to cover what he or she has planned for that week in the 2 days, and they wish to take it, to wrap it up before giving up the assignments, the class can actually happen on Fridays, right? So after dealing with advanced Starknet contracts, you're going to be given assignments and, of course, try to renounce ownership in an ownable contract. This is something highly advanced, right? So we're going to have Darlington Nam, who is the co-founder of Horus Lab and a core Starknet contributor, share knowledge on this aspect that is very advanced. And in week 6, we now understand how the whole writing of Starknet contracts works, both the basics and the advanced level of it. So I'm going to deal with testing. I mean, after writing your code, you want to ensure that everything is working perfectly and that there are no issues, right? So we're now going to go into the aspect of testing your smart contracts and Starknet. So you're going to be introduced to unit testing, integration testing, and mocking in Starknet. I mean, writing tests for ERC20 contracts and the likes of that. And of course, how to automate testing, right? And various cheat codes that you can use to automate or make your testing really fast. And of course, the ability to test upgradable contracts. Upgradable contracts are totally different from normal smart contracts, right? So upgradable contracts are, what you're dealing with in week 6, how to test them. So you should be able to write unit tests and you'll be given assignments to do this. So Ibrahim is going to be helping us in week 6 to do this. And then having understood all this, you've done the fundamentals, you've done an advanced, you've now done testing. What is the thing that is now left? I mean, writing the smart contract or backend isn't what is going to display on the front end. You need to have a way to make the front end marry the code that you've written. You need to make the front end marry the smart contracts you've written, and that's where front end integration with Starknet comes to play, right? So we expect obviously that everybody here is expected to at least be a web developer, right? You should have fundamental knowledge of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or React, right? This you need to be at least, you need to understand JavaScript or React to an extent to actually participate in this bootcamp. And that's why I'm reiterating that if you are not an existing web developer, try to upgrade your skill set, right? I mean, during the course of this bootcamp, ensure you are, upgrading what you know, I mean, around web development. So when we get to the areas that involves something really technical, you should be able to understand it. But if you're coming from a seriously non-technical background and you're not doing personal study, you are really not going to understand anything from this bootcamp, right? So you should ensure that you are doing a lot of personal study, and that's what is going to help you. So in week 7, we're now going to deal with front-end integration with Starknet, right? So having understood the deep, the contract side of things and the code side of things, now you want to integrate it with your front end. How do you do that? So we have what is called Starknet JS and a Starknet Kit. So there are various, APIs as well, providers and signers and various accounts you can use, right? You're also going to be talking about ABI and contract interaction. You know what ABI is, right? So you're going to utilize this to ensure that your Starknet, your front end interacts well with Starknet. There's something called Starknet React. It's just like the way you have normal React, but this Starknet React is more tailored towards Starknet. So you also understand how to, utilize Starknet React and Starknet Scaffold as a tool to make your work really easy. And of course, everybody's going to be given a task to build a front end for a simple contract. It's not just writing the contract. I mean, in previous weeks, you are going to be given tasks to actually write the contract alone, right? Only the contract. We want to see the working ideology of these contracts, right? But in week 7, what we're expecting from this is the contracts you've written, now build a front end for it and integrate it, or whatever existing front end you have, try to integrate smart contracts into it. So a simple one could be a to-do list contract, So using Starknet Scaffold, you should try to, build a front end or integrate a front end into that contract you've written. So you're also going to be given an assignment. It could be something basic or something big, because you've actually already understood how to write basic Starknet contracts, and you also understood how to write advanced Starknet contracts. And then in week 8, which is not written in this calendar, week 8 is actually for final projects. So having understood everything from ground level, if you look at this calendar, you see we started from ground level, which is what we're going to be starting with today. We're going to start with the introduction from ground level, right? What is Starknet? This is like a newbie kind of level. We're taking it from the fundamentals. What is Cairo? Why Cairo? And the rest of that. The syntax. How do you write Cairo code? So you've understood this all the way down from the fundamentals up to an advanced level of it. How do you now bring everything together? And that's where you have the final project. So you have week 8, which is your 1 week for you to build a project. You may look at it as a hackathon, but I just look at it as final project, right? So that's what actually proves that you know what you know, right? When you can actually build something cool with it. And then by the end of week 8, we are also now going to kind of like have say sort of introduce you to various ways you can make money with the skill you now have. One good thing about what we do at GIDA is we try to ensure that from each of our boot camps, you are not just getting theoretical knowledge. We give you knowledge that can make money for you, right? Depending on how well you know what you know, right? Case studies are our last boot camp called Masters of Trading. It was for people who are interested in trading, crypto trading, forex trading, people that wanted to learn, right? We had that boot camp and a lot of people participated in it and are making good money for themselves. A lot of them are students actually, right? So we want to ensure that whatever skill sets you are getting is something that can fetch you money. So we train you and ensure that you can do well for yourself. So in this case, we are going to introduce you to a platform called Only Dust and various other earning initiatives on Starknet. Right now, when you visit these platforms I'm talking about, it may not make so much sense to you. But when you have the knowledge we are expecting or we want you to have from now to the next 8 weeks, that time it will make so much sense to you, and you're going to be earning a lot of money from bounties and also connected to job opportunities. And of course, you can equally contribute in the Starknet Africa community or whatever Starknet community is closest to you, and get to make a living out of it. So yes, this is what the next 8 weeks will look like for you. This is what GIDA has presented to you. It's all up to you to take this to the next level. It's all up to you to ensure that you actually graduate. All right, like we mentioned in the mail we sent you this evening, there are 3 things I need you to understand, right? We are going to present certificates just like we did in our previous bootcamp. We're going to give certificates to everybody who participates in these bootcamps and graduates. So to graduate, you have to ensure you have at least 60% attendance in classes. I mean, right now that you're on the call, attendance has been taken without your notice. Each time somebody leaves and comes back, we're counting that, right? So we have a way of doing that. We're not counting it manually. We have an AI that is helping us do this, right? So your attendance is being taken. Any day you're in class, we will know. The day you're not in class, we will know, right? So you have to ensure you're in class every single day, or what's come to us, you ensure you're in class at least 60% of the time. All right, so we're going to take that attendance very, very seriously. We'll take it very seriously. And then the second thing is your assignments, weekly assignments and tests. Right, sometimes it may not be an assignment that you're giving on the Fridays. You may be giving a classwork or test, which is why you have to ensure you're always in class. So Fridays, we say this for assignment, it doesn't mean you won't show up. Right, when it's time for class, you have to show up. Right, so it could be a classwork that is given that you have to code real time. The instructor could actually give you something they want you to do in class. Right, so you have to ensure you do those things. So each of those assignments or tests is going to have a form, right, for people who participated in it. In fact, each of them is going to be a Google form and it's going to be tracked. We're going to ask for your email address, your wallet address, and all these informations in that form. Right. So what you find out is that if you don't do it, we are going to know that you didn't do it. Right. And when you've submitted your assignments, or test, or what have you, we are also going to mark it. Right. The instructors are going to mark it and allocate your scores. If it's something that is objective, you're going to get their scores instantly, and if not, you're going to get the scores over time. Right. So ensure that you have at least 60% performance in submitting of assignment and test. If you are attending classes and you're not submitting your assignments and tests, you're not going to graduate. If you're not attending classes but you're doing the assignments and tests every week, you're not attending classes, but you're doing the assignment and test because you can just see the form and go ahead to fill it, you won't graduate, right? So these are two things you have to, make sure that you 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 marry together. So you ensure you're attending classes always and you do your weekly assignments and tests. Then, like we mentioned, it's advised that you have these weekly physical meetups. I mean, from the registration data, let me show you something. I'm not going to share this information. I'm just going to show you a chart. I want to share this data so that you guys could actually understand something. We have from the registration data 451 persons from Nigeria. I think we also have India, 6 persons registered from India. Ghana, we have 10 persons. Palau, Pakistan, Togo, Portugal, Kenya, Oman. So you can actually see that, in a lot of countries, there's no country that is just one, right? In the Nigerian states, we have a lot of people from a lot of states, Abuja, Lagos, the popular states. This is Enugu has the highest number of registrants, Anambra, Osun, Kano, Delta, Akwa Ibom. We have a lot of people registering from these, and in specific cities as well. There are a lot of people in a lot of specific cities in Nigeria and other states, right? So what we want to do is to see that, please mute your mic. What we want to do is to see that in these cities, if you have at least 5 to 10 persons in any of these cities, you guys can actually meet up on weekends. Just like we said, the class activity or bootcamp activity is 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So weekends, which is Saturday, Sunday, depending on what you think works best for you. I think Sundays usually works best for me for such meetups, as Saturdays are a busy day for me actually. So if I were a learner just like you, and I have somebody learning the same thing as me in my city, I mean, not just in my city, but very close to me, I would definitely love to meet. It's going to motivate me to want to graduate. Right. So I've been part of virtual bootcamps, just like the one you guys are trying to be a part of. And I tell you, it's a lot challenging, especially when you have some other things you're doing. Right. So we are going to see how we can fine tune this from this data that we've gathered. I'm going to share that. So you don't need to, start sharing your phone number, your location to any random persons. Remember, security is paramount, right? Security is very, very paramount. So as long, irrespective of the fact that you want to meet these guys, get to bond, as everybody's a Gidan right now. I mean, being part of our bootcamp means you're a Gidan. Gidan is just like an attribute or tag that you call yourself as somebody that is part of the GIDA community, right? So everybody here are Gidans, but of course, there are good and bad people. So we want to ensure everybody is safe and secure. So over the next couple of days, probably before this weekend, we're going to share the data of like specific locations where we've seen a lot of people. Of course, even if you guys are just 2, 3, you can feel free to meet and just create a WhatsApp group. I think you can create a secondary WhatsApp group, and we have to have control of that group to ensure everybody is safe, and nobody's asking anybody for money, what have you. So we want to ensure safety of life and property. And of course, we can send you guys some of our exclusive merch when we see you guys are doing well. So for your weekend meetups, we can send you guys exclusive merch. You take photos, send to us. Everybody's happy. We're happy. So this is typically what the whole bootcamp structure looks like. So if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I mean, a lot of people are raising their hands. Let me see. Probably let me drop everybody. So if you were raising by mistake, you can re-raise your hand now. So if you have any questions as relates to the bootcamp, just raise your hand. I will take them quickly, and then I'll hand over the mic and the space to Sarah to continue her schedule for today, being day 1 of class. All right, so I think I have the first question, right? So I have Ugu. I think I saw an Ugu raising a hand before this person. Is your question answered? I can't see your hand up anymore. Okay, I can't find that person, so we'll go with Lawal. Lawal, what's your question? Lawal, what's your question? Please ask your question. Lawal is unavailable. Ebube, Ugu, please proceed. What's your question? Ebube, please proceed. What's your question? I want to be sure it's not my network, right, that is giving issues. I can't seem to hear any of the both of them.
It's not your network.
Okay. All right.
Good evening, sir.
Your network is okay.
Yes, good evening, Ebube. Go
Okay,
ahead.
all right. Good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, please.
Good evening, sir. Can you
Good
hear me?
evening. Please proceed.
I want to ask. Well, I have a.
Is it okay if I just like
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. I want to ask. I have a little knowledge of web developer like HTML and CSS, though I don't really know much about JavaScript. So I'm a data science student. So is there a way I I just think I should, I don't know. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, please go direct to your question. Just go straight to your question. Let me understand what you're trying to ask.
Okay. Is there a way I can combine it with my studies? I mean, blockchain and data science.
Well, I think it's all dependent on you, right? As at the time, I'll always use myself as case study. I was a student no, up to not so long ago, right? And I became a blockchain developer whilst to a student. So it's all up to you. If you want to do something, you've got to give it your very best, right? So being a student is not a limitation at all, right? It's all up to you. Figure out a way to plan your schedule, and that's one of the reasons why we fixed the classes by 8:30 p.m. West African time. So it's typically evening in West Africa, where most of our community members are domiciled. So if you're a student, you're expected to be back from school or work or whatever at this period. So it's mainly tailored for West Africa to cater for these needs. But you can see some of our friends here are from Portugal, some of our friends here are from other countries, yet they are participating. So it's all about working on your priorities and your schedule. Does this answer your question? Perfect. Okay. I see Ebube Ugu. Please ask a question. I don't think he's here.
Okay, I
Okay.
asked my question in the info messages. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, what I asked was I don't know if we're going to be are we going to be learning anything on Rust?
Okay, that's a good question. Right. So one thing you should understand about Cairo is built on Rust. It's just like how Solidity is built on JavaScript. The syntax is JavaScript syntax. So it's more or less like if you understand JavaScript, you can actually write Solidity to an extent because it's just a little bit of iterations and changes. I mean, it gives you a good starting foot. So it's like if you want to learn Solidity because you can use it to write JavaScript. So in the same vein, Rust and Cairo are such that if you understand Rust, it's like a building block for Cairo. So Cairo is like the next level, right? So you're not necessarily learning Rust, but you're learning Rust while learning Cairo. I don't know if that makes sense. Does it
Okay,
answer
I
your question?
understand now, sir. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does.
So
It does.
yeah. So peace Isuako. If I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Can I ask a question? Okay, peace seems to have
Good
gone
evening,
out.
sir.
Yes, good evening.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, are we will we divert like away from JavaScript as time goes on, or will still be using like JavaScript syntax, or will divert from JavaScript?
So Cairo has nothing to do with JavaScript, right? What's the entire reason why we say we prefer the class, the people participating to the existing web developers is that listen to the reason. It's not because you're going to use JavaScript or HTML, CSS, or what have you. It's because you already understand coding like ideology, how this works, what you're expecting, how logic plays are done, right? So the syntax is totally different, right? So the syntax is totally different, but the ideology is similar. I mean, in all programming languages, you're talking Python, you're talking C++, C++. The syntax is totally different, right, with JavaScript, but the ideology is the same. I mean, and considering the fact that you're an existing web developer, you'll be consistent than a newbie, right, who is just started. So that's why we prefer you're an existing web developer. And like I answered the other guy, the closest language here to Cairo is actually Rust. So if you have knowledge of Rust, you're even like a better fit than somebody, a better fit to understand Cairo faster than somebody who is just coming from JavaScript background. Does this answer your question?
Yes, yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So Godwin, NWC, ask your question.
Okay, good evening. Please, I wanted to ask, I have two questions actually. I wanted to know like the timetable because I am a student, like my classes might be clashing, so I'm not sure of the timetable. Like you said, the classes are starting from 8:30, so I don't know where it will end because of my studies. And then which other programming languages are going to learn? Like, is this just solely the Cairo? Because I am a full stack web developer, so I don't know if there's any other um programming languages we're going to be able to learn. Thank you.
Okay. So like we mentioned in your mail, if you read your mail where we send the curriculum to, we mentioned classes are 3 times a week, and each class on the actual days of class, which is Mondays and Wednesdays, are 2 hours. Classes are 2 hours because the classes are just twice a week, right? So classes are 2 hours. So we are proposing we are starting the classes by 8:30 p.m. West African time. So depending on your city or country, you cannot convert that, and then 2 hours into that is actually 10:30 p.m. West African time. So depending on your time zone in the country or wherever you're participating from, you're gonna get that. So it's 2 hours. Then you mainly build on um you mainly build on Starknet with Cairo only, right? For now, to the best of my knowledge, you only build with Cairo. I don't think you can build with JavaScript. Some blockchains allow you to use multiple languages, right? But I think on this you only use Cairo. And I think if you're an existing web developer, you are not looking to learn JavaScript anymore or React. What you are looking to learn is something new and different. So I think Cairo and Rust is just what you should be looking at for now. Does this answer your question? God,
Yes, thank you actually.
yeah, you're welcome. So
Thank
we'll
you. That
have
was my question.
good. Jojo, please ask your question. I think that's the last person.
All right, GM everybody. So,
GM.
yeah, I wanted asking two questions, but I think the first have been asked. When you talked about being a web developer, if you want to like fully understand the classes and all of that, then I wanted asking for those of us that are like new to this stuff and new to the blockchain development and all of that. I've actually started taking courses in them, but not on Rust yet. What would you recommend for us so that we'll be able to match up with our contemporaries that are here that already have knowledge in most of these things prior to this time?
Very good question. So, um, when we say you should have existing web developer knowledge, we don't mean Rust. right? The entire reason, like I said, why we say you should have at least some background of coding, programming, web development, or however you want to look at it, is such that you understand logic, right? When writing code, you can easily debug. You know how to debug your code, right? You know what to do, how to do, and when to do with normal web development. So when it comes to something new, a new language, it's not totally strange to you anymore, right? Nevertheless, I actually, from my experience, there are a lot of people who actually start from scratch with no knowledge. I mean, they don't have any existing web developer knowledge, but they are good developers today. I do know a lot of such people. It's all about dedication and commitment, which is why when we're doing the publicity or marketing for the bootcamp, we did mention that it's mainly for existing web developers, but newbies can participate. Only that you have to put in 300% more effort than every other person. So you don't have to go and start learning Rust, please, right? If you already have, if you mentioned, like you mentioned, you've been doing some web developer, learning or personal study, that's totally great. All you need to do now is pay close attention to what is being taught in the class, and then you now build on that by doing research on it. Go online, watch videos. I mean, we're not going to teach you everything. It's 2 days, right, in a week, so you can't cover everything. So you're going to get a top-down overview, and you have to do a lot of personal study, especially considering the fact that you don't have you're a newbie, like you called it. Do you understand now, Jojo? Is it clear? Perfect. So does anybody have any other question before we kickstart today's class? And of course, like I mentioned, the classes are going to be streamed to YouTube. So make sure you are subscribed to GIDA's YouTube. I'm going to drop the link to the YouTube once again. If you are not yet subscribed to it, just go to youtube.com and /official GIDA. I'm going to drop the link. So just go subscribe to this. Oh, damn. I made a mistake. So I'm going to resend that. Right. So that's the link. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's a playlist we are creating for this. So by the end of each class, we're going to send the recording of the Google Meet there, so you can actually replay. But of course, like we mentioned, ensure you attend each day of class. Don't depend on the replay. It's going to be much more difficult for you to follow up. Plus, your registration, your attendance counts is going to be affected. Like I mentioned, we are always taking attendance, right? As the call is ongoing, we're taking attendance. We're taking note of when you joined the call, when you left the call, and all those informations. Yeah. Godwin, do you have another question? Your hand is up again.
Yes, I have a question. Please, is laptop needed for this first class? Like, is it like immediately? Like, is it needed like right now for the first class?
So, for the classes, a laptop is needed, but I think this is just introduction. This is an onboarding call we're having. So today's class isn't going to be so deep that you're not touching code. So don't be afraid if you're with your mobile. So you can continue your mobile today, but from all subsequent classes, ensure you join with your laptop. I mean, you may necessarily need to do something or install a tool or what have you. So it's best to always join with your laptop unless told otherwise. Any final question before? Yeah. Does any other person have a question? Okay. I guess not. Sarah, welcome once. Sarah, welcome once again. Good evening.
GM, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. GM, everybody. Okay, so
GM.
my screen. So we can start as soon as possible. Please let me know if you can see my screen. You can just give a thumbs up. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So we are going to be doing an introduction to Starknet today. Yeah, in like less than an hour that I have. Okay, so my name is Oluwatosin Sarah. I'm a smart contract developer and I do technical writing. Today's agenda, we're going to be looking at Starknet overview, zk-snarks versus zk-snarks. We're going to be looking at validity rollups. I don't think time will be able to permit us to look into Starknet architecture, transaction type, transaction lifecycle, and all of that. But we're going to be covering it in the next class. Okay, so before we move to the overview of Starknet, I want to be sure that I have the right audience with me. Does anyone know what a blockchain is? So you can just like raise your hand and tell us what you understand about what blockchain is. Okay, is it that, okay. Afolabi, you can go ahead. Yeah, Afolabi, you can unmute your mic and speak.
GM everyone. My name is Afolabi. So like blockchain is a distributed ledger, and it is like a completely open end for it's like a method of recording information that make it impossible or difficult for system to be changed or hacked.
Awesome. Thank you, Afolabi, for that beautiful definition of blockchain. Okay, I think Norbert is next. Yeah, let's hear from you what a blockchain is. Hi, Norbert, are you there?
Yeah, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so my name is Norbert Frem, and yeah, blockchain is actually, just like you said, a distributed ledger, but it allows like it's more like a decentralized system where nobody can actually alternate or add or modify anything that's been recorded on the chain. And also it allows you to carry out any transaction type without any intermediary or a third party. So basically that is what I understand from blockchain.
Okay, thank you. The last person, Ebuka. Okay, yeah. Is Ebuka there, or I should call on someone else?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please, you can go ahead.
Okay, by my own understanding, a blockchain is a decentralized network, or a decentralized connection of devices or computers. That's my own understanding.
Okay, thank you. Thank you everyone for your contribution. Because of time, I won't be able to take other contributions for now. So with every contribution of everybody is right. So from the whole definition, you can say that blockchain is a decentralized network, right? That has it's immutable. The blockchain is open. It's not like Web2, right? Blockchain, so let me just, for anyone here that don't really have understanding of Web3, right? Okay, before I even, can you just raise your hand if you don't have understanding of what Web3 or blockchain is about, even with the definition of these three people, before we move forward? Okay. So we used to have Web 1 before Web 2 came in place. Web 1 was the time where you could only read, like those times where, let's say newspapers, you could only read. There was nothing like WhatsApp, there was nothing like Facebook, there was nothing like social media platform, Twitter and all of that. Then that was a problem because people could only read and not interact. Then Web2 came, where people can now read and write. So your content is out there, right? And then you can interact on whatever content you have on the internet. Now, with Web2, people, or some couple of people, started to think that, okay, there's another issue with Web2, which is the sense that whenever you post your data online, let's say on Facebook or Instagram, do you think you actually own those data that you post there? Those data are actually not owned by you. So that was the issue that Web2 had. Web2, the whole Web2 is centralized, right? Let's not even talk about the financial part at the moment. When you post your pictures on Facebook and all of that, do you think you own those? You don't own them. You don't own them because do you know which server they are being like posted to and all of that? That's how people's data gets sold and all of that. Now, that was the issue Web2 had, right? That, okay, they came with the solution of Web3 where you can now own your data, where we can now have like a decentralized system when people can own their data. So Web1 was for only read, Web2, read and write, Web3, read, write, and own. So also talking about the financial part of Web2, a lot of times when you go to banks, you get it's either, if you're not queuing on in banks, there's transaction limits, this, that one, even like a whole lot of issues. I can say a lot of people here are Nigerians, so you understand what I'm trying to say. But Web3 is not like that. We have cryptocurrency, right? We have DeFi, which is actually powered by the blockchain technology. With DeFi, you don't have limits to like how much you can send, all of that. You can do your transfer anytime, any day, right? There's no censorship. Okay, I forgot to mention that for Web2. This guy, what's his name, that owns Twitter X, I can't remember his name. I just forgot his name now. You can send, yes,
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. He can censor you anytime because I mean he has the power to. That is Web2. But for Web3, the system cannot just like shut down like that. No. So I hope we now have an understanding of Web3 and blockchain. So blockchain is what powers Web3, the blockchain technology, what powers Web3 and everything that goes on in the Web3 ecosystem, right? Yes. So now let's get into Starknet. Yes. So what is Starknet? Wow. I didn't know it was going to do this. Wait. Okay. What is Starknet? Now, the normal blockchain, for example, we have Ethereum, we have Bitcoin. I'm going to Bitcoin, but for some reasons, Bitcoin, you can't really you can't build smart contracts and centralized applications on Bitcoin, which is why like Ethereum is there for you, right? Ethereum is that layer one blockchain where you can build your blockchain applications and all of that. Now, there was an issue with Ethereum, which was the issue of scalability, right? Now, before layer two came in place, it was just layer one, and you can try to picture it. Let's say you're in your city, and then let's say I'm going to use Lagos as an example because it's just the best place to use as an example. So we all know how Lagos traffic can be, right? From especially when it's like morning or evening time, there's traffic. You can be in traffic for 3 hours. And why is that? That is because there are a lot of people trying to access probably one way at the same time. Lagos is congested. That is the main reason why there are usually traffic, right? Let's remove the fact that the roads are bad. Even if the roads were not bad, I mean, if a lot of people, there are not a lot of cars in Lagos, I mean, it's still going to move. But the Lagos is congested. This is the main reason why there is traffic. That is exactly what happened on the Ethereum network before layer 2 came in place. So there was a time, I can't remember, I think it was 2015, during the time of CryptoKitties, where a lot of people were trying to play the game. CryptoKitties is like a game built on Ethereum. At that time, I think it was like it was a very popular game, and I think one of the first game built on Ethereum at that time. So a lot of people were trying to access, play the game on Ethereum as at that time. You can imagine what could happen because there are a lot of users. Now, because there are a lot of users, the network is obviously congested. Now, because the network is congested, there's increase in gas fees and then slow processing time. They like slower processing time. It could take sometimes it could even take like a minute for your transaction to be executed. It doesn't like happen again like that now since we have layer 2s. But that was exactly like how the Ethereum network was before layer 2 came in place. So there was a problem there was scalability issue. Though the network was secured and it was centralized, but then there was scalability issue. Now, this is where layer 2 Starknet comes in place. So Starknet is a permissionless layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum. So it allows developers, not just developers, but developers at this point to create scalable and secure decentralized application while benefiting from Ethereum security. So I saw in the comments when somebody was asking if Starknet is a blockchain. Now, Starknet doesn't stand on its own. There's layer 1 and then Starknet built on top of the layer 1, which is now layer 2. So it's still going to post but let me not scatter your head from this point. So but then Starknet is a layer 2 scaling solution. Just add that in your mind. Starknet is a layer 2 scaling solution. So the way Starknet, I mentioned that Starknet is a scaling solution, right? The way Starknet scales Ethereum, it scales Ethereum by bundling multiple transactions together off-chain and then submit a single proof back to the Ethereum mainnet. So while doing this, it reduces gas cost and improve transaction speed. I'm going to explain that. Now, Starknet uses what we call validity proof to bundle multiple transactions of Ethereum. Starknet has its own network, which is the layer 2. And then we have layer 1, which I said the layer 2 is built on top of. Now, Starknet bundles multiple transactions that Ethereum cannot handle on its own, like bundles it, right? Thousands of transactions off-chain. Off-chain means off of the Ethereum network on Starknet. And then from these batch transactions, it submits a single proof to the Ethereum mainnet. What is left for Ethereum is for them to verify that, okay, the proof was actually like generated correctly and these transactions are valid before it is being added to the block on Ethereum. So by doing this, it reduces gas cost and improves transaction speed. I hope someone is following me. Let me see.
Yes.
So I hope you guys are like understanding. Okay.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Beautiful. So it does this, and then like I can tell you right now, Starknet is the fastest L2 right now. Like it's like very, very fast, like very fast. So that's for Starknet, right? So there's some concepts that you need to understand around Starknet. We have Starkware, we have StarkX. You already know about Starknet, and we have Starknet Foundation. So Starkware is the company behind Starknet and the company that initiated the whole idea of Cairo, right? Which is a provable programming language. So Starkware was co-founded by Eli Ben-Sassin, one of the co-inventors of zk-snarks. So Starkware is a company that is focused on blockchain technology, making blockchain technology more scalable and efficient. You can just infer from the explanation I made from Starknet. Starknet is a scalable solution, right, for Ethereum. So Starkware is mainly focused on making blockchain technology more scalable and efficient, which, yeah. Okay, so now StarkX was the first service provided by Starkware, right? But just that StarkX helps specific applications like NFT platform, and it processes a lot of transactions quickly and cheaply, just like Starknet does. The only difference between StarkX and Starknet is that StarkX is a permissioned network, while Starknet is permissionless. Permissioned in the sense that if a company wants to use StarkX as a service, they have to like enter into a contract agreement with Starkware first before they are able to use StarkX as a service. It's a permissioned service, right? While Starknet is permissionless, anybody can use it. You can deploy your smart contract without having to ask Starkware for their permission or anything like that. Now, both Starknet and StarkX, they use validity proofs, right, and stacks, right? Though StarkX is specialized, it's mainly for some certain applications, while Starknet is general purpose. So Starknet Foundation is a non-profit organization whose goal is to help the ecosystem grow by creating educational resources, supporting events, giving yeah, supporting events like this one, for example, and that. Yeah. So please, if you have any question, you can drop it in the Inco chat box. So we'll take that after. Now let's move to zk-stacks and versus zk-snarks. So zk-snarks stand for succinct, non-interactive arguments of knowledge. You don't need to cram it. You don't need to cram it. Just calm down. Even the stacks, you don't need to cram anything. STARK stands for Scalable Transparent Argument of Knowledge. Both of these, they use zero knowledge proof, but one is one is succinct while the other is mainly for the scalable applications, right? So let's go through the features. We have transparency. For zk-stacks are more transparent. There's no trusted setup required. That means it's not like centralized when we talk about initial trusted setup. For zk-stacks requires a trusted setup, right? For zk-stacks. The proof size for zk-stacks, they are large proof size. For zk-snarks, they are very small proof size. Now, the proof generation efficiency, right? I said, just have it in mind, both of these are zero knowledge proofs. So the proof generation efficiency for zk-stacks, they are efficient for large computation and highly scalable. There's something that the more transactions, for example, the more number of transactions you have, the more efficient stacks become. That is just it. The more efficient, the more the transactions it processes, the more efficient it becomes. So for zk-snarks, they are efficient but less scalable for very large computation because they produce very small proof size. Hey. Now, for scalability, zk-stacks are highly scalable. They are suitable for large data sets and complex computation, which is why that it's being used by Starknet. I mentioned that Eli Ben-Sassin was actually one of the co-inventors of zk-stacks and is also one of the co-founder of Starkware. So you should already get that. Now, for zk-snarks, they are scalable, but less scalable. So, like less scalable compared to zk-stacks. Zk-stacks are highly scalable in the sense that they can process large amount of transactions, right? So for quantum resistance, zk-stacks are more quantum resistant to quantum attack due to reliance on hash functions. So it's believed that zk-stacks are they are quantum resistant, while zk-snarks, they are potentially vulnerable to quantum attacks due to elliptic curve and cryptography. So in summary, both zk-stacks and zk-stacks refers to specific types of cryptographic proofs used in zero knowledge protocols, with stacks focusing on succinctness. I mentioned that I think I made a mistake when I said both are zero knowledge proof. No, they are both cryptographic proofs. Both zk-stacks and zk-snarks are both cryptographic proofs used in zero knowledge protocols, with snarks focusing on succinctness and non-interactivity, and stacks emphasizing scalability and transparency. Now, let's quickly go through validity rollup. So what is the validity rollup?
I think from the comment section it's better. A lot of people said they are just confused. Everything was going fine till you got to the ZK, till you got to the ZK side. So probably you can
Okay.
re-explain it or take it slowly. So they are lost from the ZK.
All right. So guys, don't do you want to do do you want to go into ZK? Well, you don't need to like beat yourself up on it. You know, all these ZK stuffs are actually the things that make up the old Starknet under the hood, right? You don't even the Cairo under the hood, there are some things that you don't really like need to worry yourself about. But what you need to know is that zk-snarks are the technology that Starknet uses. And the reason being that zk-snarks produces, the proof size of zk-snarks are large. In reference to zk-snarks produces very small proof size. The reason why I'm making this reference, we are more concerned about zk-snarks because this is what Starknet uses. I'm just making like a comparison with zk-snarks because both of them are cryptographic proofs used in zero knowledge protocols. You get. So for zk-snarks that Starknet and Starkware uses in general, they are efficient for large computation and they are highly scalable. It is actually zk-snarks that enables Starknet to be able to process thousands of transactions per second. So that is just it. So I hope you guys get, or do you still have like a specific question? Okay. Not, please, can you see my screen? Someone is saying they can't see my screen. Okay. Thank you. Afolabi, okay. Do you have something you want to say?
No, sorry.
Okay, so Starknet is okay. Okay. Now, why is it not EVM compatible? They are not. That's why I said, you know, it's built on top of Ethereum, right? We get that. But Starknet has its own programming language, which is Cairo. And under the hood, Cairo has uses like zk stuff under the hood. There are like a lot of polynomial stuff that you still don't need to worry yourself about it, right? So the whole technology of Starknet is more zero knowledge inclined. That it doesn't even, if VM cannot handle it at all. It has its own VM separately. It has its own VM. It uses Cairo VM separately. So I don't know if that answers your question. Is the right answer? Okay, so let's move forward to validity rollup as I was explaining. So validity rollup is what Starknet uses to roll up transactions. So the idea of validity rollup, you know how rollup banner works, that you want to roll up your banner. I wish I had a video to just imagine it in your head. As you roll up banner, if you're familiar with roll up banner, as you roll it up, roll it down, that's something like, that's what validity rollup does. It rolls up multiple transactions and execute it on Starknet, that is half of Ethereum. So it bundles them in a single proof. I already mentioned that. Then submit a proof to Ethereum mainnet for verification and settlement. So this process reduces the amount of data that needs to be processed on chain, making transactions faster and more cost effective while still benefiting from Ethereum security. Yeah. So how it works, how Validity Rollup works. So the first thing that happens in when you sign your transaction, let's say you want to exchange a token on any decentralized exchange, right? As you submit, you sign your transactions, these transactions, they are collected by the sequencer. So though I'm not going to be explaining in detail what the roles of sequencer, I'm going to be doing that in the next class, the next section, right? So because if I start, I would like to finish. Okay. Please, Prosper, please kindly mute your mic. Thank you. Okay. So when you submit your transaction, they are collected off chain. They are collected by, they are picked up by the sequencer. The sequencer is the one that picks up your transactions and then bundles them together, right? And then it's time for processing. So these transactions, along with many other transactions that are submitted on chain, are processed, and then the result of these transactions are calculated, right? So after then, bonding happens. So the results are all rolled up into a single package. That is why in the first slide, I mentioned that the proof is being compressed, which is how Starknet is actually like providing us that scalability for Ethereum, right? Because the whole transaction is just, they are rolled up. What they just need is just a proof, just a mathematical proof that the transactions that are executed on Starknet, all the multiple transactions that are executed are actually valid. So it's just a proof that is being posted on the smart contract on Ethereum. So after the bonding happens, the proving, I already mentioned the proving itself. It's a Stark proof. Okay, a Stark proof is generated to verify the correctness of all transactions that has been rolled up together. So then we have submission. This submission this package along with the proof is submitted to Ethereum, right, for verification, finality, and all. So verification, then Ethereum verifies the proof, validating all the transactions at once. That is it. So I just like made a simple analogy here. So you can try to think you're a teacher that is grading an exam without a Validity Rollup, right? You have to check every single answer on every single exam, like Ethereum processing transaction. You know the way Ethereum processes transaction, it processes transaction one by one. But Starknet does not do it like that, which is why it actually scales Ethereum. Now with a Validity Rollup, you have a trusted assistant who grades all these exams for you and gives you a detailed report of these results along with a mathematical proof. All these things, all these debrief, this thing that I'm talking about, they are based on mathematics, like deep mathematics. So a proof is submitted that the grading that was done is done correctly. So you don't like need to be checking number one is A is correct, number B is this and that. So you only need to verify this proof, that the proof that was submitted You only need to verify that the proof was actually generated correctly. So this approach is what allows Starknet to process thousands of transactions while requiring Ethereum to do a single verification. And with this, it drastically reduces the load on the main Ethereum network. So this is the whole magic of Starknet. So, yeah, I'm going to be taking questions now. In the next class, we are going to be going into Starknet architecture, explaining sequencers. I already mentioned sequencers. They are the ones that they get transactions from you when you sign transactions. They process transactions. Then we have provers, which they are the ones that generate proof, right? We have nodes on the network. I'm going to also be explaining nodes on the network, how everything is connected together, and then how finality, transaction lifecycle on Starknet, how it all happens on Starknet to Ethereum. Then transaction types, yeah, transaction types on Starknet, which are the declared transaction types. I'm going to be explaining universal deployer, finality. Sorry, I already mentioned that. So yeah, so now the class today is just to like give you an overview of what Starknet is, right? And then yeah, let me take questions now, and I can ask a few questions too, and be sure you actually followed me through the class. Okay, so let's have the questions now. If you have a question, you can just raise your hand. I want to hear your voice. You have a lot, yes, there's a lot to digest. You're going to be taking in more on Wednesday. So just get ready and get prepared. Just open your mind for more information. The slides, okay. I don't know questions. You guys are scholars. You understand everything that was taught. So I can ask my own questions. Okay, Godwin, please go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, I'll be honest. I'm new into this blockchain. Like I haven't really understood what it's all about, but from the explanation, I have an understanding of what blockchain is. But the thing is, I don't really understand what I've forgotten what
Starknet.
I think it's Starknet. Yes, Starknet, what it really is, and then zk-net, and then zk-snark and zk the other one. I don't really understand what they are.
Okay. First off, do you understand what a blockchain is? And do you know that a blockchain like Ethereum is a layer one, is layer one? Do you understand that? I need to know first.
Yes, I understand that.
Okay. And do you know that Ethereum has a problem of scalability? It has scalability issues. Do you know that?
Okay.
Do you know that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we talk about the scalability issue is the whole essence that, you know, when we have more transactions, more users on the network, on Ethereum network at once, that means we have more transactions. Transactions are actually what represent users kind of on chain. So if you have more users that are trying to, let's say, everybody in this our Nigeria, they're trying to send out money or execute smart contract function somewhere, somehow on Ethereum all at once. Let me use this example. So if you have data like normal Wi-Fi that you turn on for people to use, if it's a Wi-Fi that can only contain, let's say, 32 people, and then you turn it on for 5 people, you can't compare the way it's going to be so fast than when you turn it on for 32 people. I don't know if it has happened to you before.
Yes,
The data
yes, that's happening.
it get low and all of that. It's not like usually fast. Now, that is exactly what happens on chain when a lot of transactions are being executed at once. A lot of people are trying to access the network at once, right? The network gets congested, and once network gets congested, if you notice, I don't know if you're someone that uses cryptocurrency, there's a particular time of the day. If you wake up very early in the morning, the gas fees are not usually that high. But if you try it in the afternoon, the gas fees, like, it's kind of skyrockets. That's when a lot of people are actually on the network trying to access the network at once. Now, because of that, because of network congestion, the validators don't the validators, they charge high gas fees, right, at that point, because they are now like hot cake. Yes, I say hot cake at that point. And then because we have too much users, too much transactions on chain, the your transactions get slow to get picked up by validators. So that's what happens, which is what Starknet is solving. Starknet's goal is to scale Ethereum drastically, and he's doing that. He's doing just that. He's scaling Ethereum. If you check Starknet, if you execute transaction after now, in the next class, we're going to be doing practical session, so you can get to understand what I mean more when you can see it. So the whole essence of Starknet, it's a layer 2 scaling solution that is scaling Ethereum. It's as simple as that. It scales Ethereum, and the way it scales, the way it scales Ethereum is so the way it scales Ethereum, it uses zk-snarks. That is the tech that Starknet uses to scale Ethereum. zk-snarks is what makes Starknet possible to process thousands of transactions. Starknet doesn't process transactions on Ethereum. It processes transactions off of Ethereum. Starknet is a framework that is built on layer 1, which is Ethereum. Now, it processes transactions off of Ethereum. It processes transactions on Starknet. So after processing those transactions, now those thousands of transactions, it generates a single proof that all these transactions that was processed is correct. It now submits that proof to Ethereum. That is what it submits to Ethereum, which is like the way it scales Ethereum. So normally Ethereum will have to execute those transactions one after the other. But with Starknet, it doesn't have to do so. Starknet already processes these thousands of transactions, generated a proof. Now, the proof, that single proof for thousands of transactions that was generated, it's what Ethereum needs. So once it verifies that these transactions are correct, it's been included. So that's just it. Do you understand now? Or let me know if you're still confused. Godwin. Is Godwin there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Thank you. I understood it. So great.
Okay. Thank you. So is it like all these people that are reading the answer questions? Sharif, please go on with your question.
Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So thanks once again for the opportunity. I think we are all grateful for it. So I just want to, okay, from my understanding regarding the transaction with Starknet and Ethereum. So if I understand it properly, it's more like instead of like instance where you go to, let's say, a shopping complex and get several items, instead of having a pay slip for each of the item, the cashier just bunch everything together and
Yeah.
print out a single pay slip for the whole item, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, does it happen when you have to make reference to each of the item in the future? Do you make reference to that single proof for that same
No.
item?
So you don't have any business with any proof. You don't have any business with any proof. So there's no how you want to make reference to. See, once the proof has been verified on Ethereum, that is finality on Ethereum. It has been accepted. Now it is added to the blockchain. It is finalized. It is on the blockchain. So that is it.
So its presence alone is a proof.
Yes, like that proof sums up, it sums up those thousands of transactions, it sums them up. Now all those transactions are represented by that proof on Ethereum.
Okay, one more question, please. So, for let's say an intermediate, intermediate programmer, maybe not an expert and not a beginner, like how much time would you think will be sufficient to give into this learning per week, so you can actually make something reasonable out of at the end of the program?
Okay, so it just depends on how intense you study, right? It's always like better if first after each classes you go through what was taught, and then you study it. You even like do a practical, though there's no much practical for this session, majorly for the coding aspect, right? So there's no specific time. It just depends on like when when you're studying yourself, you know when you have like actually like gotten something, you know that okay, this even if it's 2 hours, you know that these 2 hours I know I learned something. You can dedicate 2 hours and you didn't get anything. But it all depends on like the uh, how you I will not say passionate, like it just depends on the intensity you put, really. So that's it. There's no time dedication, or just give it your best. Honestly, just give it your best. That's it. Please.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Godwin. Okay, no, not bad.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so thank you very much for your presentation. Though my network was frustrating, so I could not um, stay in the class so much. But I'll be going through the slide after you posted it in the message board. So I just want to ask a few questions. So they said Starknet is built on Ethereum blockchain.
Yes.
All right, and another aspect of it said trying to reduce or reducing gas costs and improving transaction speed. So I don't know if you discussed about this, but let me just, it's more like taking you back. So if, because normally Ethereum gas fee is something that, you know, we normally, you just have to check your time and look for when it, you know, the, I don't know if it's when the blockchain is not congested, that is when transaction is lesser, or when it's congested, yeah, when it's congested, that transaction is higher. So is Starknet also providing a solution for this aspect of high gas when it comes to something like Ethereum, because it is built on Ethereum?
Okay. So I will think it's better you listen to but it's more like you even answered your question. You listen to the recording. So the whole idea of being a scaling solution is it's process the transaction very fast, and once it's processed transaction, definitely gas fees will reduce. So gas fees on Starknet is really, really, really low. It's not even up to one, like you cannot even use $1. But it depends on, now sometimes it depends on if it's not normal transaction, I mean normal transaction like sending of funds, something like that. If you're deploying like a DApp or stuff, sometimes it has, but even at that is very, gas fees right now is ridiculously like low, is very low on Starknet. So that is like the whole thing. Yeah. So who else is asking question? So someone gave.
So I have a question. Oh. I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay, yes, please ask your question. Yes, please ask your question.
All right. Thank you very much for the presentation. Quite an insightful one. So because I was trying to wrap my head around how Starknet comes to a consensus when a transaction is broadcast into the network. So I don't know, is there like a consensus mechanism, like more like a way, or basically which mechanism, or how does Starknet come to an agreement? For instance, when a transaction is being broadcast into the network, how does the blockchain knows the state at which the blockchain is at that moment, and then how does it then agrees that okay, this is a valid transaction, and then before adding it to the block? I
Okay.
don't know if it's okay.
Okay, so I mentioned something like when, can you mute your mic? Okay, so I mentioned something like when you sign a transaction, though the details of this is going to be explained better in the next class, which is for the Starknet architecture and transaction lifecycle. So I mentioned something that when you initiate a transaction on Starknet, it is picked up by the sequencer. Currently, there's only one sequencer on Starknet, which is the one has Starkware. So it's that one that gets like, if is the one that processes your transactions. So if your transaction is a failed transaction or anything, before there was no inclusion of failed transactions on in blocks, so which caused a lot of issues for Starknet at the time. But now it's not like that. So even for failed transactions are included in blocks. So for the consensus, it's you see, Starknet, provers, nodes, all of them work and they learn together. So I don't want to be going into details, so I wouldn't have to like confuse some other people here in class. But in the next class, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into all of this. So is that fine?
All right, yes, it's fine. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. It will be chicken. Please ask your question. Okay, since the Chiku is just there, Uche, please ask your question. I don't get Don Charis. I didn't get this your question. Okay, who's talking? Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. So I know you've not gone deep into Starknet, but since I'm just trying to understand how Starknet was infused in Ethereum, because I just did a little quick research. I saw that the founders of Starknet are not the founders of Ethereum. So I just wanted to know if it's just maybe a group of developers that just, you see, it's a solution to the scalability issue of Starknet of Ethereum. I just wanted to know if like blockchain is so decentralized that anybody can just create a solution and just implement it on an ecosystem.
Okay, so talking about please, Izzy, I can hear myself. So okay, so who asking questions? I don't know. Is if you can't hear, I think I can mute myself. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. For different solutions that was presented, right? We have different co-founders and there's different tech to it. Now, for you to be able to provide your solution, yes, the network is decentralized, but it has to make sense. The tech has to be solid. It has to be solid. Elide Sassin, who is the co-founder of Starkware and one of the co-inventors of zk-snarks. That guy is very, very deep, very good in mathematics. So most of like these zk stuff are based on like deep mathematics. When I'm talking about mathematics, it's not like deep mathematics, cryptography, like all of those things, polynomials. It's not like jokes, elementary mathematics. So if you're going to be coming today with your team to provide a solution, it has to make sense and it has to be like proven. It's not something that you can just come up with a solution today, this year, and then it's up like that. So Starkware has been like for years, and they didn't even deploy their token not until they didn't even launch their token not until this year. So it has to like so but that's Daramola Mary, please ask your question. Mary, I can't hear you. Okay, Chris, please ask your question.
Okay, thank you for presenting
I was asking what of claiming tokens on that was built on Ethereum blockchain? Like, why are those tokens, some of them, like all these airdrop tokens, for instance, why are like claiming of those tokens, the gas fee, some are usually high? Because there is one of token I claim that was built on Ethereum blockchain, like the gas was too high. So like, why is it like that? So that's my question anyway.
Yeah, the reason why it's high is because probably at that moment that is Ethereum. So probably at that moment when you're trying to claim the token, either the network is congested, like I mentioned. If network is congested, definitely gas fees will go up. Gas fees will definitely go up. Validators will increase gas fees. No how. So, and then because Ethereum has to validate transaction one after the other, it can like it slows transactions down, which is why layer 2 like Starknet provide solutions to scale Ethereum. So is as a question be answered, Chris?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Who else has? Mary, please go ahead. Your hands have been up since. I still can hear. Maybe you should drop a message on the in-call message. Azan, please ask your question.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My question is, what's the difference between Ethereum and what's the difference between Starknet and Solana? Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to answer that right now. Okay, just hold on. Just hold on. Mary, is Mary speaking? Okay, I can't pronounce this name. Kojo, please just ask your question so I don't ask your.
Thank you for your presentation. It is very clear for me. But I want to ask, apart from uh, Starknet layer 2 use case and the scalability, what are real use case in daily life?
In daily life?
Yes.
Daily life. So daily when you talk about daily life now, you
Other use case can build on Starknet.
Yeah.
Can use for other.
Okay, so when you talk about daily lives, so it depends on the solution. If
Daily life, that is mean the use case who other people don't know a blockchain solution or opportunity can use on Starknet.
honestly, I didn't really get your question, but from the beginning,
Okay.
when
Okay. Can you explain me other use case of Starknet apart scalability or layer 2 solution?
okay, so one important Starknet, especially for developers, is being able to create scalable decentralized applications, right?
Yes.
So, and then one thing about Starknet is you can create like complex operations on it, right? Using Cairo. Yeah.
Yes.
So it now depends on the kind of idea that you have as a developer, the kind of idea that you can bring to life. When even you were mentioning about like daily activities or something, it depends on the kind of idea that you have that you can use Starknet to change your society. So that's why you as a developer, you have the ability to build scalable applications for scalable decentralized application, right? There are a lot of like dApps on Starknet as we speak. So it depends on your idea and what you want to build. Okay, so Azan, you talking about, okay, let me answer Mary. My question are, what does layer 1 and layer 2 mean? Secondly, you mentioned increase in gas fees or okay, okay. So layer 1 is the main blockchain itself, which in this case is Ethereum. We have Bitcoin. Bitcoin also is layer 1 blockchain. So layer 2 are a set of frameworks, are like secondary frameworks that are built on top of layer 1. Layer 2 doesn't stand on their own. They are built, they rely on finality of layer 1 blockchain. You get. I hope you understand the whole essence of the whole thing that I was trying to tell you, that scalability, what they are. Time has really gone. Okay. So when you mention increase in gas fees during the day, so that's for Ethereum actually, and it's not like they are the ones. If you really, they are not the ones controlling the network. So it's just like a normal thing, right? It's just like a normal thing. At that time, at that congestion time, there are a lot of work. Like you have a lot of work in front of you at this time. Like there are a lot of work. So definitely there's increase like in gas fee. It's just like normal when the network is congested. So as an for Solana, interested in Solana, Solana, we could define. Okay, Solana is different from Starknet, right? Though the transaction speed of Solana 2 is high, right? But Solana is a layer 1 blockchain and Starknet is not. Starknet is a layer 2 blockchain. And the language that Solana uses is also different from the language that Starknet uses. The tech is different. Yeah. So I think I was able to do justice to your questions. I will not be able to answer. I'll be asked my own questions, but my next class on Wednesday, we are going to be covering Starknet architecture, transaction lifecycle. Starknet architecture has to do with sequencer, prover, nodes, consensus on Starknet, finality, universal deployer, a lot. And then we're going to be introducing Cairo. Why Cairo? Why do we use Cairo on Starknet? We're also going to be setting up the development environment. So you should have your PC with you on Wednesday. So this is the end of the class for me. Thank you for having me today. Over to you, GIDA.
Amazing. Please, let's send some amazing reactions to Sarah. Let's send amazing. This is a perfectly executed class. I totally loved every single bit of it, and I believe you loved it as well. Please, let's appreciate Sarah once again. So we have kickstarted on a very good foot, and I believe that we are going to continue on this foot, right? I like how she took her time to answer your questions, right? So as always, like I always say, please do personal study. I've shared a slide on the WhatsApp group, right? Her slide is on the WhatsApp group. So go through the slide, do personal study. Anything you don't understand in the slide, do personal study on it, such that when you come to the next class, you can ask question, not ask her to, start afresh. The parts that you see confusing is where she's talking about stack and snack and all those key things. So what you can likely do is probably watch a video about it, right? And you should be good. So we appreciate that. We have gone way beyond the class schedule. Class is meant to end 10:30 p.m. West African time. This 10:47. So we are almost 20 minutes late. We apologize for that. Nevertheless, I believe it was worth it. It was worth it. So it was a very good start, and we're looking forward to the next steps, which is class by Wednesday, and then the assignment or test by Friday. And if the class on Wednesday doesn't, she's not able to cover up, then on Friday you may have your class. So like I told you, Fridays are mainly for assignment and test, but it can actually be a class before that happens, a subtotal class, if the previous days activities couldn't be completed. So I think with this, we've come to the end of the class. Does anybody have any other question or something before we wrap up? I see somebody raising the hand. Hassan Hakim, what's your question? Hassan, please hurry up. What's your question?
Oh, sorry, that was just mistake.
Okay, George, your hand is up. What's your question?
Okay, she mentioned the level for Solana, which is a L1 layer 1. I want to ask is, what is the stack level for Starknet? Is it layer 1 or 2? She
Starknet is L2. It's scaling Ethereum, but it has its own virtual machine. So it's an L2, but it's not Ethereum compatible somehow. When you go deeper, you understand. But what you just need to understand is Starknet is scaling Ethereum. Solana is not scaling anything. Solana is Solana, just like Bitcoin is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is L1. Solana is Solana. It's not scaling anything. Ethereum is L1, while Starknet is L2. Is it understood? Okay. I guess
yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I guess there is no further questions. So yes, for the recording, for those that are asking, the class was recorded, and typically Google Meet processes recordings in within a 24-hour time frame. So within 24-hour time frame, once the recording is processed, we're going to post it on our YouTube channel on the playlist. On the playlist that is created for this bootcamp. So do well to subscribe to the YouTube channel and always check there for the recording. For those that are always asking, please point them there accordingly. So yeah, we're gonna post that. Please always pay attention to your mails. Always look out for your mails. The link you joined this class with today is the same link you are going to be using for the next 8 weeks, except we say otherwise. So always check out for your mails, and pin that mail, pin that Google link to class, so you never forget. I think that's pretty much it. So do have a good night rest, everybody. Yes, please, I forgot to mention something. By the end of class every day, you are expected to take a screenshot of yourself in class. That's a screenshot of your name showing on the screen. So you're going to go on social media, make a post about what you learned in class for that week. So it's actually an accountability check. It's going to help you to be consistent. So every single day, or every week. You can decide to do yours weekly. You can decide to do yours immediately the class ends, or within the week. So take a screenshot if you have not done that. If you have not done that, do it right now. Take a screenshot of your screen, such that it shows your name. You can even decide to mark it up and circle your name or something. Circle yourself out on the screen so that anybody looking at your tweets can actually see that you are part of them. So once you've taken that screenshot, go to Twitter and make a tweet. Right, I've already seen like 5 persons who have tagged me to their tweet already. So that's like a very good move. That's what even made me to remember to notify you guys. So make that tweet, mention what you learned, and then in subsequent ones you can just keep quoting that tweet or retweeting that tweet to make new posts. So it's going to help you be consistent. Mention what you learned, tag GIDA, tags Sarah, Oluwatosin Sarah, probably you can type your Twitter handle on the chats in the call messages. So you can tag Sarah, tag GIDA, tag my handle, mention what you learned and what you're looking forward to for the next 8 weeks. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. So do have a good night rest, everybody, and sleep tight. Bye bye. Yeah, you can take a normal pic with your phone. So you can take a screenshot of your screen, or if you're on your laptop, use your phone to snap what you're seeing there. So yeah, good night. The slides are in the group. Check the WhatsApp group.